So you say, you want to make money in 2025 with your music. Well, first of all, you are on the right channel, my friends. But what are the best moves in 2025? What is working? Not just in music licensing, but all of music. What should you be doing? A lot of this stuff that I tell you today, you ain't gonna like. But I think you're used to not liking what I have to say sometimes. I've been spending most of 2025 so far looking back at the kind of music incomes that I made in 2024. And you've seen those videos. If you haven't, you can just go back in my videos and see the most recent videos. Also, I've been looking towards 2025. What am I going to do to make more music income? Now, lately, I've been spending 2025 buried in briefs, and we're going to talk about that. But in some ways, that is looking forward to income in 2025, possible 2025 income. But what about you? You right there, those of you watching this in the comfort of your own homes, phones, whatever you're doing. What should you be doing to make music income in 2025? Stock music is dead, right? Or is it? Is this the year you make the move or the next moves in sync licensing and get your music into TV and into films and things like that? Is it time to find a music partner who can really complement what you are doing and stop trying to do every dang thing yourself? What about producing other people? Yes, it's a thing and you can do it. What about selling sheet music? It seems to be something that is very interesting to people on this that follow this channel. What can you do to make music and make music income with sheet music? Or how about just making more of your own artist music? Do you remember your artist music? Remember that when you were an artist and just dreaming, I could make my own music? What about that music? And really ramping up your Spotify and your distribution and getting that going as a income stream. What about playing a gig, for goodness sake, and the things that come with that? Well, all of this, how in the world could we cover all this today? Well, it's because it's a long blog. But we are going to talk about all of this today. If making money from your music is not interesting to you, well, then this may not be the video for you. But if you want to make music income in 2025, well, my friends, you need to stick around because I have answers for you. Well, welcome to Make Music Income, where we talk about all kinds of ways to make music income, including sync licensing for TV, films, gaming, and ads, microsync licensing for YouTube, presentations, streaming your music, publishing your music, and how to get royalties, music production for others, not just for yourself, but music production services that you do for money like tomorrow and get paid. Sheet music, which again, you can put up and get that selling within a few hours. Being a music artist, and remember your music and putting your music out and making money through streaming. Being a church music person, being a teacher of music. This is a big one. Teaching music is how some of you who watch this channel survive, and you have a whole cadre of students who learn from you and come to your house, or you go and teach them. But I hear you. You say, Eric, yes, I want to know about how to make money in 2025, but how in the world could I, thinking about all these things is overload? Well, it's not overload, and I'm going to show you and tell you why. My name, by the way, is, if you don't know, I have a thing for you right here to tell you who I am. My name is Eric Copeland, and I am a composer and a producer, an arranger, and for the last 25 years, I have been wearing those and other hats. I wear a lot of hats. I currently work mostly on focusing my time and my partners on getting music to TV, as well as films and advertising and other places. Selling sheet music is another thing I do a lot. Selling music on other websites and things we're going to talk about today. And I work for artists. All we have to do today is just talk about all these things. And that's what we're going to be doing. And I want to talk about how I'm doing it, not just by myself, but with partners. And this is another thing I want to stress today as we're going through these things. How can you have more partners that you work with? Because I'm telling you, my friends, it's a key to getting things done. You can't do it all yourself. And I know all the gurus say, just get you a DAW and sit in your little laboratory and just make your little music and you can do it all like that. And I just don't believe that's true. That's my hot take on it. In fact, today's show is sponsored by Positive Spin Partners. And you're saying, what is this? Well, you can email me at eric@makemusicincome.com. Or you can go to positivespinsongs.com. There's not any information about the Partners Program on there, but you can see what we do as a company. But being a partner means that we are working together towards developing music monthly, weekly, daily, for the focused reasons of licensing that music in some way. Our goals are to get on television, into TV shows, into movies, into film projects, into ads, maybe into video games. We have lots of things that we can do with the music that we make, as well as just putting it on your Spotify site or doing some other kind of thing with it. We have different ways we do this. We could do this by pitching music to exclusive sync libraries, which most of them are exclusive, not all. Some are non-exclusive. We could respond to direct sync briefs, which I've been doing a lot of this week and has resulted in lots of partners and friends of this channel, people who are watching, people of your ilk who are watching right now on YouTube. They have joined with me and we are putting songs out there and making songs every day. And I basically have three kinds of partners in this Positive Spin Partners thing. Composer producers. If you're a composer producer and you can bring some work to the table, then, but you're just having trouble finishing, well, I finish it out for you. And if needed, I add some orchestration or beats or Nashville players or vocals and mix. And then I pitch it to the variety of libraries and briefs that are coming in all the time. And since we started this just a few months ago, we've had 5 albums be accepted by libraries and over 50 songs be signed in just a couple of months. It's crazy. That's one thing, composer producers. The second kind of partner I have is just a partner, somebody who comes in and they may be a co-writer, but they may just want to get in on a song and be the co-executive producer with me on a song that I write. I just had this happen on a album that I sent to a library on Friday. And I had someone come in and just be an executive producer, actually several people who were executive producers on some of the songs. And their job is just, if you don't know what an executive producer does, if you ever see Tom Cruise as an executive producer on a movie, that means he's paying for it because he wants a piece of that movie's return. And so partners come in and executive producers come in and they work with me and they get 50% or some percentage of the back end of these songs that we're getting signed. And they also pay for tracking sessions or pay singers or pay for mixing. And then I pitch and we work the song together. The third option in a partners after composer producers and after co-writer partners is artists. If you're an artist and you make music or you want to make better music and you need a partner, you're going to hear that word a lot today. Artists can also be partners. And you can have songs or you can not have songs. I can help you write or co-write songs for you. We'll produce them in Nashville as needed. We'll market them, distribute them, and pitch them to sync. Who else is doing this? Do you know anybody else that does this kind of thing? Maybe you do. And you might be thinking, oh, okay, this is one of those things where the guy is trying to get 1,000 people and he get them in it. Okay, first of all, I can only have the bandwidth to work with about a dozen people or more. It's not a free-for-all. It's not a cattle call. I can't work with 200 people here. So it's kind of a special deal where not everybody who gets in touch with me, it's for them. It's not a community. This is direct work I do with people weekly. Yesterday morning, everybody at 8 a.m. got a weekly update about what we were going to try to accomplish this week. This is not a free service either. This is like hiring a producer, kind of, because you are. And hiring a producer who could also get you into the stream of sync licensing and get your songs into libraries and or help you get your songs into Spotify and all those things is what I do. And also, this isn't a forever service. I'm not sure how long this will last that I could do this, because my hope and goals are to get tons of songs into libraries and be making in a few years all of my income through passive income from songs. And I imagine you would like to do that too. Well, if you are, then get in touch with me at eric@makemusicincome.com and just email me. And it can be very casual. Just say, hey, I'm interested and I'd like to talk, and we can talk more. You can get free stuff. Yeah, there's free stuff at makemusicincome.com/free. And you can get things like our 50 ways to make music income, which would go well with this video. But today we're going to get into that. And my hope is that all the videos that we make, all this jabbering that I do on these videos, that they help you make the music you love to make, because that's what I like to do. That's all I'm doing today, and make music income. Today's video is recorded live, so that means this is a podcast that will be put out to podcast channels. Before we get into the topic today, and again, if you're watching this later, there'll be timestamps below, but I want to talk about my week, because this brief thing, I call this a brief detour, because that's basically what my weeks have been. That's basically what my months have been. Because usually I spend all my time working with and for my partners. Well, in this past month, I have been working with my partners, but I have been working with them on these briefs that have come in from libraries. Libraries telling us what they want, and we have then tried to dig out the songs that we have that work for this particular brief. We need modern pop for this. We need country for this. We need orchestral hip hop for this. And so I go to the people who are partners in some way, shape, or form with me. We got so many briefs in here. It's like a mail locker room. There's briefs all over the place. I just delivered a 12-track album just in time to get another brief last week for more modern pop instrumentals. And by the way, if you have any modern pop instrumentals and you think you might be interested in partnering with me, I do have to fulfill a brief this week for just instrumentals, no vocals. I'm not doing any vocals this week. Eric is tired. But get in touch with me back at the Positive Spin Partners things. If you have some instrumentals and you'd like to be in a library, guess what? I can help you. All right. This week, though, I am back to other albums. I made a lot of way. I made a lot of hay. I made a lot of hay. Made a lot of way. I made a lot of progress towards a new album with artists that we got an album signed in December. And so we've got another album that I think is going to do very well. I just have to talk about briefs for a second, because this is one of those things that when you start investigating sync licensing, people talk about as, oh, you got to do briefs because the library wants a certain thing and you have to do what they want. And so trying to be a team player, right? You're trying to do what the library wants, but there is a bit of pressure, I'm here to tell you, in doing these. I like to help people and work for people, and that's why I have partners. But these briefs have been, it's been an intense push. It's still somewhat going on. It's probably going to go on the rest of this week a little. I am pulling back the reins after this big push, this big album that I just released. But for the most part, I'm getting back to just making songs for all my partners. But there's a few things about briefs that are just really kind of hard for me personally. Now, this is just me. This channel is all about me. Sorry. This is about how I do things, not how I'm going to tell you. So I'm going to suggest things to you, but I can only report to you and give you my information that happens to me. The only thing I am 100% an expert on is Eric Copeland. And so all I can do is tell you exactly what happened with me. And I'm telling you that working on briefs has caused me a little anxiety. How about that? Also, I can tell you that following the reference can be good, and supposedly that's what everybody wants. Give me the reference, and then I'll make a track like that reference. I had that backfire completely with a library who heard a song that I literally did. I don't do this very often, but for this one song, I thought, oh, this could work well with this song. And so let me, take that song down, take it apart, see what it has in it, and maybe I'll fashion mine like that. Well, fashioned it a little too much like that, even though I think if you took the arrangement away, you probably wouldn't realize it as much. But the arrangement I did called too much towards a song. It can happen. I got burned by a reference. And so I'm here to tell you references aren't everything. And I usually don't use references personally, just like I don't use templates. I tend to start from scratch on everything. So this brief detour has been an exciting way to start the year. We've got a lot of stuff signed into libraries because of it. But at the same time, I'm ready to just make some great albums and get them out there. Hi, Eric. If you've got any tension briefs, just let me know. Yeah, tension, there are different things that different libraries want. And one thing that I did find out, Wolfgang, is that at least one library has told me, no, anything but tension, please. We've just got too much tension. Now, when you watch television, you'll see that most music in most cop shows, they need a lot of tension. But apparently, tension is causing tension at libraries, and they are using it all the time. But this particular library says, we're not looking for more tension at this time. But that's just one library. And as you know, we just did some kind of briefs like this, and I'm working on several tension albums right now. So go figure. Let's jump into today's topic. And I want to talk about how to make music income in 2025. I'm going to go through about 6 to 10 things that you need to be doing. And then after that, stick around for the end, because I'm going to talk about how not to make music income in 2025. All right, so I think the first thing we have to talk about and just get out of the way, we just have to talk about stock music and licensing for non-exclusive sites online. And is it time to move away from stock music? Should you be moving away from stock music to make more music income this year? There's a few things I want to show you, and they are all online. So let's go look online, and we'll start here, as I always suggest we start, at Pond5. And Pond5 is a place that we have dealt with forever. If you're wondering why I'm starting with stock music of all things, because we think of making more money in sync licensing, and I did last year, and I probably will from now on. But for some reason, not for some reason, because of Daniel Carrizales and the fact that he suggested my channel early on, and it became followed by a lot of people who do stock music, a lot of people who still do it. And there are a lot of people who make thousands of dollars at it. And then there are a lot of people who make very little, if not nothing, at it. And everything in between. If you watched one of my last videos about how much people made in 2024, you saw that there were people that made 0 to 100, and that about equaled the amount of people who made 1,000 or more. And so it's kind of crazy. But to me, it all kind of starts at Pond5. And the Pond5 game, I've done all sorts of prices. If you see right now, I've got everything at $9.99. I just had it at $49.99 for a while. Didn't have any sales. I've had it at $29.99 and didn't have any sales. I've had it at $4.99 and it had a lot of sales. Now I'm kind of back up to $9.99. But I'm here to tell you, I don't think it makes a difference. I don't think it makes a dang difference in the world what you price these songs at. People, if they need a song and they want to just buy it and they don't want to buy a subscription to something, they're going to come to Pond5 or Audio Jungle or wherever, and they're going to buy the song because they need the song. So that is a case for maybe keeping your prices higher in the 20s, 30s, maybe even $50. But I don't think that it really matters, because the game now with Pond5 seems to be the data set's income. Everybody has been talking about how much money they made from what we call data set earnings, which is what Pond5 is paying people for letting them use your music for AI to train off of, okay? So a lot of people don't like that idea, and so they don't want to be part of that. And so that's why they are moving away from Pond5 and these places that train your music. Now, it's still just another way to make money from stock music. I mean, what's the difference? in selling a song for $9.99 and making whatever you make from it, 30% of that, and making $3, or having it trained and making $3 from the training? Is there any difference? If you get a $600 check like I did in October, will there be another check? We don't know. There was a check the year before in 2023, a little check. I think I got $50 or something like that. Other people got more. This time I got $600. Other people got more. And so it just depends, I think, on how many songs you have in Pond 5. And so that might be the only reason that I could see that you'd want to stay on Pond 5, is to be part of a possible data set payout and AI income payout, which was pretty hefty in 2025. Let's move on to royalty-free music with Motion Array. Now, Motion Array is a place where I have a lot of stuff, and I make the most monthly from Motion Array. I make about just under $100 a month from them. There was a big brouhaha about Motion Array. Many people took their stuff out of Motion Array because Motion Array changed their payout levels, and it's much different. Personally, for me, there was no difference, and I do want to show you one other thing. So January is over. I had 26 votes on this. Did you make more or less in January of 2025 than you made last year? And most people said about the same. And I am one of those people. 46% said about the same. I am at about the same. And yeah, as you see, 42% said less, and only 12 people said more. And it's very similar on our Discord. If I go over here to the Discord and I go to, and by the way, if you're not in our Discord, the link is below. You need to be on there because there's lots of good information. And I said, did you make more in general in stock music in January of this year or last year? 30% said more, 55% said less, and 15% said the same. For me, it was more. And again, I can only report on what exactly is happening to me, but I can also show you some numbers from 20 votes here. And then I have about 18 votes here. Motion Array was 56% had less money from Motion Array, and 33% had more, and 11% stayed the same. I stayed almost exactly the same as last year, last January. So, which wasn't a great month, by the way, but I did. So Motion Array for me, personally, is staying the same. Now, not everybody can get in Motion Array. They have a very high bar. And so if you're not in Motion Array, it might be harder to get in there, which is a good thing. That means only high quality stuff in here. Here's Wolfgang's answer. Motion Array January 2024, exactly the same as January 2025. I think all the gnashing of teeth, all of the disparity and anger, and I know people who quit Motion Array. I know people who were literally, they complained so loudly and voraciously. They complained so much that they were banned from Motion Array even. But so far, my friends, it doesn't look like there's much of a change at Motion Array. At least wasn't for me. There wasn't for Wolfgang. And I think that is it's one of those things, and I think that's going to be the case in all of these. It doesn't matter if I'm talking about Motion Array. It doesn't matter if I'm talking about Envato, which is in Audio Jungle is what I'm in. It doesn't matter if I had 2 sales in Audio Jungle last month. If you're talking about Song Trader, which is, I have a lot of things in Song Trader, lots of songs in there. It doesn't matter if you're talking about Audio Sparks. I had my biggest Audio Sparks month last month that I've had in a while. I don't know why. And that was for January, which is usually a quiet month. And then there is Motion Elements. And I'm going to probably get a little busier in Motion Elements just because, number one, I have somebody who can help me do that, so I don't have to do it and spend my time doing it. And second of all, I can take part now in their global distribution thing, their global subscription program, because I am no longer, shock alert, I'm no longer with Identify. Now, that's only half true. I am waiting for a reply back to them. They have removed all of my songs from the YouTube Content ID system. And I hear some of you saying, it's so risky. What if somebody steals your song? If somebody wants to steal my song, they could steal my song anytime off of YouTube. All they have to do is download it and they can do whatever they want with it. So, but Identify, I was at my 3-year term, I guess, and they let me out. And I just decided to get out, become Content ID free for a while. And this does a few things. Number one, when people search my music on Motion Array, which is way up for February, by the way. This has never happened before where I've had a really bigger month in February than I was having in January. So far, it's faster than January. Don't know what's happening there. But the point is that you can, in Motion Array, they can search for songs that don't have Content ID, so they don't have to worry about that flagging their system. So I'm doing that. Number two, it lets me be in Motion Elements global thing, which is the only way I've ever been paid from Motion Elements. And number three, I can take any of those songs that aren't tied down somewhere else and that were in Identify and tied up for 3 years. I can now take some of those songs, especially originals, because I'm not putting originals on any of these things. I talked about that earlier in one of my videos. I'm only putting public domain things up. But I can take my old originals that were locked in for 3 years to Identify, and now I can redo them and work them up for sync purposes. So I'm going Content ID naked. I told you it was going to happen. I told you the possibility existed, and I am certainly doing that now. So that's just a little bit about stock music and where I am with it. And where is it going to go? Well, I'm going to do a full video on Friday called The State of Stock in 2025. That was a little bit of the state of stock. It's a little preview for Friday's video. So if you want to hear more about that, tune in on Friday at 12 noon, and we'll be going live talking about the state of stock. And I may have a guest, or I will just have some data for you. But the best thing I can do is show you my numbers so far and talk about all of the changes and talk about where are the places in stock music. If you're just a person who wants to do stock music, you just want to make music, put it up somewhere. You don't want to do the whole fishing for libraries thing and sync. That's just not your thing. You don't want to do that. You want some passive income, and you want to create a lot of it, like my friend Wolfgang has, who has as much as he has out in sync libraries, he has as much in Motion Array, which is one reason why he had exactly the same Motion Array month. But I'm telling you, the rich are getting richer at Motion Array, I think. And or if they're not getting richer, they're staying the same. They're keeping the same amount. And I've never been one of the rich people on Motion Array, but I have been consistent. And so far, mine is staying the same. And so if you're interested in stock music, if you're interested in making music, putting it up on a place, and just watching pennies come in, who is not interested in checking a site once a month? If you're not interested in making music by just putting your music up on a site, then you may not be interested in what I'm talking about right now. Those of you who are, make sure you catch Fridays, because Friday we're going to go deep into the science of what is happening with stock music and why you may not want to be part of that. I am still doing it. It's not my highest priority. I do have someone who is helping me now, who's going to be helping me put everything in to only the libraries that make any kind of income. I have quit about 10 libraries over the past few weeks or month, just getting out of things that have not paid me a dime, because the majority of my time is spent working on music for sync. And that's where we're going to move to next. So next up, I want to talk about how to get kind of to the next level in sync licensing and making music for television, making music for movies, making music for ads, making music for video games, all this kind of stuff. We do need to talk about some things that I'm finding really make the difference in sync. And I've been told this the whole time. And one of those things is briefs. We just talked about it earlier. And you get an email from a library and they say, and they're talking directly to you. They may be talking to several people in their library, or maybe all the people in their library, but that's not thousands of people. That might be just dozens of people that they're coming to and saying, you've provided us good music before. We have a client. In this case, I think it was a cable channel that was needing for 2 shows that I'd heard of before. And they needed modern pop. And they still need it, by the way. And again, I will just say it just so you remember, if you have anything, you want to email me at eric@makemusic.income.com, or go to email me at my Positive Spin Songs email. Either way, you want to email me if you have any modern pop, because I do have a brief. And this is a way to get to the next level, because once you get into a library that does have briefs and they are asking you for things, like actively asking you, you're not pitching to them, you're catching from them. And so you want to be catching those briefs, and if they apply to you and or you have the team to do them. I have a team of different people that send me things and I redo, and then we split the take on the sync and all that kind of stuff. Briefs can be a way to get to the next level in sync, because you're getting more and more songs into that library, which gives you more possibilities for it to be found. And especially for the briefs, since they're for a specific client, they're really more likely to be used than a song that you just send them, or an album you just send them that they didn't ask for, that they say, yeah, I'll take it because it's quality. I don't know if it'll get many syncs. But a brief where people have said, we need this, and the library's providing that for them in the next few weeks, that has a way better chance of getting your music on air and getting those placements, which is going to bring you income on your PRO and other ways. So that is one way, briefs. Second way to make more music income in sync in 2025 and on is to make more albums for sync and EPs for sync. And I even have libraries that will take one song or two songs at a time. So getting more and more, and that's my whole mantra for this year, is just 50 songs a month if possible, getting album after album signed and getting brief after brief done, so that there is a lot in these libraries. Because I do believe once you achieve the quality level, that you're able to make quality music and get it into these libraries, then you can do a lot of things. You can do what you want as far as getting royalties from these libraries or from these placements. And I think that's really important. So making the music, making the albums, getting them into, pitching them to libraries, doing them. So we have briefs first, which is your catching work. Then we have albums that you're making, which are pitching work. The other thing you can pitch, and that they really like, is artists. They really love artists. And so I'm working with a bunch of artists. If you're an artist, give me a thumbs up. I have a lot of artists that I am helping right now, and there will be and are being albums that we're making to pitch the artists themselves to a library, because most all libraries love to feature artists and have an artist album. And so artists is another thing. Libraries and sync reps are two different ways people go at this sync game, where you can put stuff into an exclusive music library. And a lot of people think, wow, that's really restrictive, because if I put it in exclusive, then they're going to want to keep the song forever and ever, and I'm never going to get back. And what if there's another opportunity to pitch it? Well, I hate to tell you, my friends, but sync agents, most are going exclusive now. And so it's very much the same, with a very big caveat. The very big caveat is that sync agent is not going to put it into a space where people can come search for it. They're just going to have it in their Rolodex to whip out if they find a use for it. So in my opinion, libraries, or at least for me, I think libraries are the better way to go. Now, if you already have a rep who wants to hear your latest song and because they have a need, and maybe you're creating modern pop all the time or hip hop all the time, and they need modern pop and hip hop every week, well, that's a whole different deal, because then you have a direct pipeline to a show or to a need and to money coming to you. But that money coming to you is a one-time thing. It's $2,000 up front, and there might also be some PRO in it, or it might be a buyout. So there are people who argue both ways about this. I'm not going to get into that discussion. I'd be happy to do either, but I know I like being able to be found, my music being in a place where it's going to be found. That's why I like doing Motion Array. That's why I like doing Pond 5 and these other places, because people go looking for the kind of music, and I make the kind of music that they can have. And so, all right, well, hey, if you're getting some value out of this video, please give me a thumbs up, because that helps other people find this video. And my whole goal for doing this is to get everybody kind of moving forward in 2025 and getting to the next levels in music income, and not just from libraries. And we're going to move on to some other things here. Let's talk a little bit about the thing that is going to help you probably in sync or in life in general to make more music income, and that is finding a music partner or partners. Listen, all of you, me, we are making music the best we can, but we can only do what we can do. And we all have our limitations. We all have whatever we can do in our thing. And maybe there are some of you who can play guitar, you can play keyboards, and you've got it all covered, and the phone is ringing off the hook for your music. That's happening to me a bit. But the way I do that is not by playing every instrument myself. As a matter of fact, I'm holding up right now a pitch to a library because I was waiting for the perfect vocal and the perfect guitar for this particular song. It just needed those things. I am not a guitar player. I have lots of guitar plugins, but plugins only take you so far. When you need custom guitar work, especially electric guitar work. And I have all the cool electric guitar plugins. And yet I am still needing great guitar programming, and that's just not easy to find. You know, if you don't do it yourself, and even if you do it yourself, there's a knowledge of how to work amps and stomp boxes and effects and which guitar to choose and which way to tune it and all of these things that guitar players know. So I am lucky enough to have a lot of Nashville guitar guys who can get me great sounds. So I'm using them, but that takes time. I have to get into their schedules. They're busy. They're on tour. They're in session. So I have to wait until these musicians are available. But they are crucial partners for me. This is why and how I'm able to do what I'm able to do. Plus my positive spin partners. If you're a positive spin partner and you happen to be watching, please give this video a thumbs up for me. Thank you so much for hanging with me through this month of briefs. And some of you are involved in those briefs. Some of you watching this video right now who are partners, or some of my partners who have been at least 4 or 5 partners were part of the brief last week that went out to this library in some way. So that's pretty cool. There's 3 kind of partners you probably would want to need. I was talking about players already. That's one kind. Maybe you need a guitar person. And if you don't have any friends who are professionals or know anybody who's professional, I would suggest soundbetter.com. I don't have a link, an affiliateship with them or anything, but I should because I use them every day, including today. Today I'm trying to get Spanish vocals for a silly advertising song that we've got going. We've been working on for a while. I have another song that somebody's doing for me too. It's a country song that a guy is singing for me in Nashville. So I use Sound Better like it's going out of style because even though I have dozens of great players in Nashville, I still need more. And I need great singers. And Sound Better is another great place to find great singers. So players, singers, those are 2 important ones you need if you're going to be doing pop music and you don't play or sing yourself. And if you really don't play anything, but you have ideas for songs, you need someone like me. You need a producer. And I think a producer is the best partner you can have. And if you are a person who is making music or you have ideas for music, but you can't quite realize that song in the way you want to, well, then a producer is the partner you need to do. And again, let me just overemphasize this. I do have a partner program where I can produce for you. And so that's all I've been doing, folks, since the mid-90s in music is working on my own music and producing with other people and co-writing and co-producing other people's records. So it's kind of the difference of me and most other people you will see on YouTube and doing this. They are all, like all my friends who have been on this channel, they're all capable of making great music and helping other people with music. But I think I am probably the person who has worked the most as a producer for other people for hire and help them with their careers. But that's been my job and still is my job to a certain extent. I have many artists right now that I'm helping finish their songs, market them to Spotify, help them figure out. I do 2 videos a week for people, 2 music videos, and try to get people to do shorts and all those kind of things that help promote their music. And not many people will actually do that. So if you're interested, get in touch. Produce music for others. Okay, this is what I was just talking about. But instead of you finding a producer, what if you were the person people found? What if somebody went to Sound Better and found you and all the projects you've done? Guess what? Here's the magic secret sauce. We did the secret sauce of finding libraries last week. This is the secret sauce for how to make money now. Use the music you're already making for Motion Array or for Sync or for whatever you're making it for. Put that on a website, make you a SoundCloud or make you a disco or make whatever, and send people there and say, I can do this for you, and it's $500 a song. You'd be making music for money. And let me tell you, I think producing music is one of the ways, more than any of the ones I've talked about so far. This is how I've done it, how I've made up to a six-figure income for 25 years, is I work for other people. Right now I'm producing music for libraries as well as people. And some of those libraries do pay me like a client would. And so that is my job, is to work and produce music for others. If you have the ability to make music income from Motion Array or from something else, and you're not making enough money, you need to be telling people, I can help you. I can build tracks. I can make beats. I can do things for you and produce them. Help them write their songs. Co-write with them so you get a percentage of anything that might go to Sync or something like that. Help them produce and record it, obviously. And then if you're able, if you know something about DistroKid, or if you know something about video editing, help them do some marketing. It is the gift that keeps on giving, because they come back to you again and again to make more recordings and to make albums and EPs, and you become their guy. And some people I've been working with for 25 years. I just got an email from a lady today. We started working together right around 2001, I believe. I've done multiple albums for her, maybe 6 to 10 albums for her over that time. And I'm still helping her right now reactivate her domain and keep her website up. So this is something that you could do for a long time, and it can be your career. Make and sell sheet music. This is something that's becoming more popular on this channel. And I believe on one of my channels, either this one or Hello Composers, I'm going to do a video about how to go from your DAW to an engraving program like Sibelius or Dorico or MuseScore and make sheet music, literally make sheet music from your DAW. So if that's interesting to you, give me a thumbs up, because that's something that I can certainly help you with if you have some. I'm starting to find my way. I have people who do this for me, but I'm also starting to find my way of being able to do it myself if the music is simple enough and I'm not too crazy. I think I'm starting to find the little things that you can do to make it happen very quickly and get from DAW, where I've made something, to sheet music, and then upload that sheet music and boom, have it out. Another way, there's a site called arrangeme.com. There's other sites that sell sheet music, and that's starting to become one of my incomes. It was probably in my top 6, 7 royalty incomes from websites and things like that last year. So that is something that you can do to make more music income in 2025. Gig and sell products. What a concept, right? Gig. Remember gigging? Has anyone ever played a gig that's watching this video? If you have, give me a thumbs up. I'm interested to see. Put it in the chat if you have possibly played a gig, and you're not just here to find out passive ways to do your music. Gig online. I know plenty of people who do lives and make money from that. I know a kid who bought a car at the school I was teaching at because he did TikTok lives. And he said he needed a car. And people flooded his, I don't know, Cash App or whatever they paid him with. And he bought a dang car. So, folks, I think the real musicians that were doing this before are probably still doing it or would still do it. It's harder than ever after COVID, for sure. It's harder than ever because you can't sell CDs anymore, so there's no table. So that's tough. And so gigging and selling products is tough. All right, but it is something that you can do, and talk about that as far as money now. That is something. I do want to touch on music teaching, because I know a lot of people who have a large teaching studio of students, and they come in and they have 40 students, and that's how they pay all their bills. Because you can charge students $25, $50 an hour, and you do the math on how much you need and teach them DAW use, how to use Pro Tools or Logic or whatever. How to think how many kids today would love to be able to make beats and all that kind of stuff. And you could teach that in your home or at a school or all that kind of stuff. So that is certainly a way. If you want to do that, music education is very helpful. This is music education. I stopped teaching live to students, but I do like teaching in this way. And if you're enjoying this teaching, please give me a thumbs up. I appreciate it. And I know people and work with many. I have at least 4 clients right now that make a part of their living, if not half their living or all their income, to pay their monthly bills from working at a church. And so if you are so inclined and you have that background, it's a great thing to think about. Making an income and being able to work on music all day is working at a church. Now, personally, you know me. That's what this channel is all about. Multiple music incomes. I think you got to do them all. As many of these as you can that I just went through. You have to be doing them as much. And you're like, there's no time. Yeah, there is. I find time. I would find time. I found time when I was working full time for a school. I would work from 3 to midnight for a school. That's a regular shift of work. I found time when I worked 8 to 5 back in the 90s. When I worked 8 to 5, I still found time at night after everybody went to sleep to work on music for hours and push my career along. And you can too, if it's that important to you. All right, the last thing I want to get into today, and then we're going to be done, is I want to talk about how to not make music income in 2025. All right, so if you don't want to make music income in 2025, don't do anything I just talked about. Don't do any kind of stock music for the bird. Sync licensing, takes too long. Don't do that. You'll never get paid from sync, and finding sync libraries is hard. And then you got to make music for nothing so that they'll take it and maybe get you. Forget about sync. Don't find partners and just have fun and play with music on your own. Keep it on your hard drive. Don't let anybody see it. Don't produce music for other people. Why waste time on other people's music? Don't make sheet music. Who cares about sheet music? Don't gig and sell products. What a waste of time to go out and make $100 for 3 hours of work getting to the gig and setting up and playing and tearing down. Don't do any of that stuff, and you won't make any music income. I can guarantee it. So that's how you don't make it. Also, don't improve. Don't try to get better. Just continue to do exactly the same thing you've been doing for years, over and over and over. Just don't even try to do anything. Don't get new gear. You don't need new gear. Just make stuff on the old stuff, and don't watch any videos or do any kind of study in music or in tech. Don't do any of that stuff, and you won't make music income. And don't work with other people. They're a waste of your time. Let them fend for themselves. Make your beats and show it to your friends and family, and then make another one, and just do that, and I can guarantee you almost, if you don't do all those things that I just told you to do, then you probably won't make any music income in 2025. You won't have the pressure of briefs like I've had. You won't have to deal with songs in libraries that are just sitting on a shelf. Who knows if they'll ever get used? Sure, they could make $200 or $100, or it could make you thousands of dollars per quarter on your BMI check, but that's a big if. So don't do any of that kind of stuff. And also, who cares? It's all about how you look, right? Just show off your stuff. Don't try to make money from it. Just go and enjoy it. And by the way, let me just say this. There is absolutely nothing wrong with doing music only for enjoyment. And I will also say that you don't have to make music income. It's like, you're like, why did I just watch this whole video? Why did I listen to this whole podcast? Well, you listen because you really do want to make music income. You do want to implement some of these things that I've been talking about. You don't want to just make music for yourself. But I will say, if you do, then fine. I sometimes think about, boy, wouldn't it be great just to make music for fun of it? And I do, by the way, personally. I sit at the piano and doodle all the time and just create things for me. And a lot of times I create works that I don't know if they're going to get in a library. I don't know if the library is going to like it when I pitch to them, but I don't care because I had fun making it. So if that's you, give me a thumbs up. That'd be interesting to know. But I'll tell you this. If you don't want to make any music income, don't do anything. Just watch these videos, kind of sit back, and then every once in a while, pull a beat down from Logic and pull a bass line down and use all the make things and make some music that you just enjoy, or go play the piano or play your guitar and enjoy that for fun. It doesn't have to be about income from music. Doesn't have to be. But you probably would not be watching a channel called Make Music Income if you didn't want to make music income. So the way to not make music income is not to do any of all the things that I just talked about, and you can find those in the things below and go back and watch any part of the video that you missed. Again, check with me, email me if you're interested in being a partner. If you're ready to do something, not do nothing, but do something, and you need a partner, well, get in touch with me at eric@makemusicincome.com, or go see what we do at positivespinsongs.com and see what we've been doing. And lastly, thank you so much for watching this video today. I hope it's helped. And go to makemusicincome.com/free and get some free stuff. There's lots there for you. Thanks so much for being here. I hope you have a great day and the rest of the week, and we will talk to you very soon. Give us a like, and have a great day, everybody. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.